Hey guys, Grant here. So if you're listening, thanks for checking out our Dave and I's little experiment here. Every week after we finish recording the podcast, we end up staying on mic for another 45 minutes to an hour and a half. Sometimes, we, kick back, crack a beer, and kind of just chit chat about our weeks and kind of talk about what else we're listening to or watching or playing. And so we thought, why not just record it and put it out and see what. Just see what comes. But it's a little more laid back than the show. It's kind of just us, just catching up after a week, and we think you guys might enjoy it. So if you do like it, by all means, hit us up on the socials. Part Time Otaku Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and give us your feedback. It's like I said, it's just a little fun thing we do extra, and kind of covers the grander scope of things that we like to check out in our lives. So right on, enjoy.
Hey, Grant.
Hey, Dave.
That was fun.
That was fun. Tired. Holy cow, man.
Usually at this point I ask you what else you've been watching, but I have a specific question. Are you caught up on Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I am not.
I'm furious right now.
I know. I am too. It was one of those, like, all weekend. I was like, can I slide it in here? Can I slide it in there? It's crazy when you're on vacation how little time you actually have, or what feels like you have all the time in the world, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those.
Like,
weeks,
no, I'll get around to that. Okay, I won't say anything other than probably their strongest episode so far, and I'm talking about episode 4.
Yeah, I have saw a couple things. That's the thing too.
No matter really? How did you get spoiled?
No spoilers, but I guess when you think about it, it's technically a spoiler because the internet, you see the headlines of, most or best episode yet or most influential moment so far in the season and shit. Like you see clickbait titles. Like it's kind of hard to escape that. I'm pretty diligent when I see something that I really, really, really don't want to see. I'm pretty good at getting into not interested in that, because if I'm looking for something, I don't rely on Google or the auto generators to give me information. I prefer to go seeking it out myself. So I'm good with saying I'm not interested in Marvel or I'm not interested in anime stuff and whatnot. So, but getting back to the point you're talking about, I've understood. I am aware that this is a pretty big episode.
Let me ask you this question: have you seen any thumbnails or keyframes? Because there are a couple come to mind that I've seen people talk about, and I'm like, man.
Yeah, there's one of Kurt Russell's kid there, Captain America.
Oh yeah, the guy playing the new Cap.
Yeah. There's a still shot of his face, and I was like, oh, he looks evil.
That's not that bad. There's a couple great shots in this one, man, that I really love. Obviously, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, watch it sooner rather than later. I don't want you to get spoiled. I'm not saying it's fucking earth shattering. I was just saying it's a very strong episode. Curious on your thoughts, but we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, the plan was to, after tonight, before I go to bed, to give that a go. But
I didn't realize. I forgot this thing was only 6 episodes, so it's almost over.
Okay.
Only 6.
Well, that makes sense why people are kind of getting excited over it, obviously.
Ramping, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of spoilers, though, I meant to message you and tell you this. As we released our finale for season 4 of Attack on Titan, the final finale manga chapter came out.
Yeah.
So it's
internet's
over.
Not happy, eh?
I've seen to finish my first thought is definitely unsubscribe from if you are subbed, because so much of the conversation around our podcast came from those subreddits.
Sure.
But for what I was going to say is a lot of the subreddits are manga and anime only, or manga and anime together, but they
there's
add
threads.
Flair. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, most of the conversation now is about the finale, and sharing this and just sharing key images and shit like that. I didn't get spoiled on anything. I saw something. I clicked on one, and it was the most obscure thing ever, you know what I mean? And before my brain could even process it, I was like, oh, this is manga related. But then I realized oh shit, every AOT post I'm seeing on Reddit is Manga Central, so I just unsubbed from them until the manga's out, or the anime's out next year.
It's probably the thing to do. Like, it's what was it? When Mandalorian season 2 was on, just because.
Dude, I still haven't seen season 2.
Oh, you should. You should.
And I've since been spoiled a little bit, but well, that's what I get for waiting.
Yeah, there's some pretty big moments. I don't know. Like, here's my sales pitch to you on Mandalorian season 2. It had Leanne and I so jazzed on like our shared love of Star Wars that.
Oh, is she a Star Wars girl?
Oh my god, big time! May 4th and everything.
Oh,
her
birthday. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What?
Like loves it, and neither of us had watched any of the none of the animated stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just we finished Mandalorian, and we looked at each other. We're like, okay, let's just start from the beginning. And we went back. We watched the the prequels. We hammered through all 7 seasons of Clone Wars,
Fuck.
4 seasons of Rebels.
Oh my god, dude, that is obscene. That is so much TV.
That's been 2021 alone. Like, we
2021, as in only 4 months.
Oh no! Oh, sorry. We started I think we had started Clone Wars middle of December.
Okay.
So but even then, that was 4 more seasons, and then 4 seasons of Rebels. That's the thing. We both work we're workaholics in our own ways. So we get home, we do what we can to we watch what we watch, but my point being is Mandalorian season 2, because it had that fucking ridiculous release schedule of first thing Friday morning. That's what you do. You Friday, it's fucking, you kind of take her slow, work a little bit in the morning there, and you're reading the news, and it's just spoiler central. No matter where you went, people had the total detour to get to what we were originally talking about, but you couldn't get away from it. It was fucking unreal.
I didn't know they had a schedule like that. That's shitty.
Yeah, so I think we were, you and I were very lucky with Attack on Titan, because there seems to be a dedicated enough fan base that has respect, for the because that's the thing. It's there's a discourse between manga and the anime readers, but when it comes to bigger products Mandalorian or Star Wars in general, it's not about some people know and some people don't. It's we need the clicks, let's get it out there to the masses kind of thing. So it's kind of the nice thing about anime that way. It's very close knit communities, and there's the odd outliers, just a fucking prick, and post shit, but
so I haven't seen any major spoilers, but hopefully it stays that way, because we've got a long break ahead of us for AOT anyway. But I will eventually. I need to pick something next, which is what I say every week, which is we're watching My Hero right now, but that's only 20 minutes once a week, right? So it doesn't exactly scratch the itch for a lunch. Actually, you know what I'm watching during lunches right now? 30 Rock.
Oh shit!
You ever watch that?
Never did. It's it's one of my missing trifecta. Yeah.
Tina Fey, Alex Baldwin, and co. Yeah, decent. And I fell onto that because lunchtime show, because of the whole work from home thing, right? Mm-hmm. So in COVID I fell into Parks and Rec. That was my lunchtime show, and I fucking destroyed that. It became not just a lunchtime show. Otherwise, that would have lasted me months and months and months. But dude, it bled into the evenings and weekends. I was because I gotta say though, that's an example of a show. It is not that great in season 1. It's just not.
No, it's not. It's The Office was the same way though. That first season, to be fair,
they had to tighten up. They had to figure it out. Just give it a polish. There's just certain things they cut and added in its place, and boom, you got a killer of a fucking show. Season 3, 4, 5 are such gold.
Yeah,
I can't believe how good they are.
Did you ever watch The Good Place?
No, actually, it's on Netflix though, right?
I think it's all there now. It's the same guy as Parks and Rec.
I didn't know
and he was the head writer on. He was the head writer on The Office for a long time.
Yeah.
Mose.
Okay.
That guy. He's the writer and the creator.
What?
Yeah. Mike, I'm blanking on his name now. Mike,
I love when creators like put themselves in shitty character roles like that.
Oh, I love that.
Or
Yeah,
writers.
it's so funny. But yeah, so he did that. He also created Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What?
Yeah, he's like the showrunner. He starts these shows and he moves on to like the next thing. But The Good Place it's very heady. It's like
It's
philosophical.
really,
but it is. I love Kristen Bell though.
I was gonna say it's Kristen Bell, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I think I've seen the pilot. Like the premise is like she's more or less sent to heaven in error. Is that
she's supposed to be in the bad place, but she got sent to the good place. And it just honestly, it was one of those shows I watched it on a whim. Mm-hmm. It's so funny. Like, we actually had TV at the time. Like we subscribed to like a TV service.
No, you don't.
And, no. Like it's it's the new era of media, and if it's something that I really want and it's not on one of the streamers, like I'll just purchase the season kind of thing.
Yeah.
Watch week to week. It's just way more manageable that way. And
anyway,
fluff. Anyways, but it was one of those shows I watched it just on a whim, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, huh? And like it was so high concept for like an NBC broadcast. Like they put up NBC is like some great sitcoms and really good shows over the years. Like they don't predominantly make good stuff. And even for this, I was like, this is so high concept. And like Ted Danson is the fucking man. Like you can put him in anything and he will completely sell it. Like everyone comedically.
Yeah, he's like kind of one of the in charge people, right?
Yeah, he's like
an administrator of sorts.
Exactly. He's like it's like his I think the early concept is like it's like his pet project of this section of the Good Place. Mm-hmm. And so like he doesn't want to get caught, so like he's like working with her on it kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So he becomes aware of like the mix up and like is like the show's kind of about that.
Yeah, kind of. And then like there's like the rest of the cast that like they also find out and whatnot, but it's really good, very, and it's short, like it's 20, the same length like Parks and Rec or The Office, and I don't know, like goofy and in all the right ways, and I don't know, it's funny, like sure. It's so funny, like instead of like they can't get away with saying fuck on like TV, so like they're in the good, they have like, because they're in the Good Place, you can't swear, so like every time she wants to, it's like fork. Or or it'd be like shirt. It's like stuff like that. But
that's pretty funny.
But yeah.
So yeah, 30 Rock. What was I gonna say? Falcon and Winter Soldier. You're not caught up on. Oh, yo, you watched Invincible on Prime?
I'm behind.
I'm behind too.
As well. Yeah. I think I still have only seen up to episode 3. Or to be fair, I was like. Like 50-year-old man in and out sleeping between the 4th episode one night.
Dude, that's exactly what happened to me.
Fuck, man.
Yo,
we're not in high school anymore. It's so silly.
Man, I don't even know. I was so mad though. I was like, I was trying to catch up on it, could not stay awake, and then it's that fucking thing. And I'm telling you, this didn't happen to me as a teenager. Now that you mention it, like I cannot keep my eyes open while it's on. I walk. I live in a small place. I walk 10 feet to my bed. Cannot fall asleep. I am up for an hour. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
It was so bad. Like, when you're so tired, like you're awake in your sleep, but you just don't have the power to just get up and go to bed. Yeah. So you're like paralyzed on the couch and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on in the show. So you're like, fuck, like a big moment just happened, but I have no idea like what led up to that moment. Like, yeah, it was, I was pretty pissed about that. But
all that said, what a pilot, eh?
Yes. Yeah. Like, did I tell you to watch that? Was that one of the ones I told you? No?
Not even. Like, I just saw it on, I messaged you after the fact.
Oh, okay.
And you were like, dude, I just watched all 3 episodes. Because I hate that I do this, but there's this reveal, there's this twist at the end of episode 1 of Invincible, and I was loving it so much I paused it to text you. I was like, dude, I was like, I hate that I couldn't just like live in the moment, you know what I mean, and just like let it wash over me. but
What's the hype?
I couldn't control myself. I was like, oh my god, Grant has to see this. And of course you were like, oh yeah, dude, I fucking devoured that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, do you see the cast for that fucking show?
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Like it's like they had, well, it's Amazon money.
Yeah.
It's, it's probably one of the most star-studded, which doesn't always mean a good thing, I will say.
Yeah.
But it's just all celebrities. Like it's
J.K. Simmons. Is it Stephen Young? Glenn from Walking Dead? Is that his
yeah.
name?
Sandra Oh is the mom.
Sandra Oh.
Jillian Jacobs.
Seth Rogen makes an appearance.
That was funny. That was so funny.
Even what's his face? John C. Reilly is in an episode.
Oh.
Yeah, he's one of the first villains Stephen Young goes up against with like the laser arm.
That was John C. Reilly?
Yeah, I know. It blew my mind too. But yeah, just a bunch of fucking heavy hitters. I mean, I bet voice work is like probably decent work.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, fucking J.K. Simmons, man, like goddamn, he's
one of the greats.
One of the goats, especially after you've seen. I can't get away from that movie, Whiplash. That'll be in my like Hall of Fame of movies kind of thing. I assume you've seen it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And do you not love it as much as me?
No, I like it. That was just, when there's like a movie, like it's just so embedded into the zeitgeist.
Yep.
And like it's, a lot of the times, I'll watch it and it's like, yeah, that was something. That was great. And I watched this movie and I think it was just like wrong time to watch it kind of scenario. It was, I don't know what it was. It was good. I enjoyed everything in front of me.
Interesting.
But like by the end of it, I was like, that's a movie,
Really? So it
yeah.
just sort of like didn't hit you right.
Which is weird because it's such my alley. Like it's a movie about music and artistry, and
it's such an indie flick, and it's like all character development. It's like right up my alley, and yours too, I think. But it's funny you say that because I experienced the same thing last night.
Oh, Children of Men.
The synopsis of that movie is like all the shit I love. Yeah. I was like, wait, a futuristic dystopian society,
which is dry and grim as fuck, though.
Which is like you can sort of see it. You can, anyway. So the description of that movie, I'm like, oh, I'm on board. You look at the cast, I'm on board. 50 minutes in, I'm like, I can't watch this.
It's incredibly
slow, grim. The performances are good, but like uneven. I don't know. There's just sort of like. But I'm not saying it's bad because I recognize that people fucking love that movie. Yeah, and like I could feel
one of my favorites.
Yeah. And like especially like the set design and cinematography. I was like, okay, there's clearly a lot of good shit going on here. I'm just not in it for whatever reason.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're just not in the zone that the movie needs you to be in. Mm-hmm. Because I was like, okay, well, what do I watch instead? And it was like I put on. Like fucking Invincible. I was like, okay, well, I clearly wasn't in the mood, you know what I mean, for a dystopian like drama sci-fi flick. So, I don't think it's sci-fi, but you get the idea.
It's so funny how our brains work in that regard. Like, one of my goals, because I just came off a stint of holiday or vacation, and going into my holidays was the intent of. Not like I don't have a huge backlog of stuff, but there was a lot of things I really wanted to like just get down and like not binge through, but like get like a good session with a few things. And Leanna too. Like we both had the goal of sitting down and watching. We're trying to find like a new anime to watch together that neither of us have seen, kind of thing. We ended up like getting that done, and I have to talk to you about that. But I had the goal. I was gonna finish Neon Genesis Evangelion.
I thought you finished that.
No, funny enough, like we had talked a week or two ago when I first tried to watch it. I had for whatever reason had stopped at episode 9.
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back. It's only 9 episoes. I'm just gonna rewatch it from the beginning.
Fuck,
I fucking stopped at episode 9 again, and it's been like 3 weeks, and I'm like, fuck. Like, but like I was gonna finish that. I was gonna watch some of the movies, like the ones that are canon. I know that's like a big fucking thing there, but
dude, I totally feel you though on where you're going here because like I keep falling back to shit I've seen already. And like,
Oh yeah.
and I don't want to be that guy. Like, yo, do you know, like, everyone knows that dad that just, like, watched movies religiously till he was, like, 25 and then has seen no movies since?
I feel like that. There's but you know what? There's like a big, for me, like we'll come back to my original point, but I'm a movie theater guy. I like
Yeah.
going to the movies. Like, I sneak my own chocolate bar in or my bag of M&Ms. Leanne and I bring in a bottle of water, or I'll sneak in a couple beers. Like, that's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the concession. I think it's a absolute crime. But you know, it is hard to watch some movies at home, and it's hard to be, and that's why like I think I absorb so much TV, or
Mm.
that type of, at least that, like, anime, like series would be the better word for it. But yeah, but like, so anyway, I had this goal. I was gonna watch Evangelion. I was gonna catch up, like play some games. Like, I got that. I got the freaking PS5, and it's like, maybe let's play some freaking PS5 games in there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. Leanne and I, we just went and rewatched Line of Duty, all 5 seasons.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, Dave, that is a fucking show and a half. We're huge.
Anime
Like,
or
no. It's a British crime drama, cop drama.
Line of Duty?
Oh, it's
I
about
don't
an
even know if I've
anti-corruption
heard of
unit. Dave, all I can tell you is, once you watch that show, you'll be sucking diesel. It is. Did you watch Bodyguard? The Bodyguard with Rob Stark?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, same creator.
Okay.
It's his first show, and it follows like an anti-corruption unit, AC-12,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just it's intense. It's super, like, you know, as like a layman, you watch it, you're like, oh yeah, that looks real. That looks like real, like, police work, and it doesn't seem like bullshit like NYPD Blue, like, or NCIS stuff. Like, it's real cop stuff. Like, it's the scenarios like some of these cops get themselves into, and it's, the mobs involved, or the organized crime is involved, and all this stuff. We love the show. Like, that's just our, like, we watch Broadchurch and Happy Valley, any British show, like we're in. And we were gonna watch all this new stuff, and we're like, hey, why don't we let's just burn like 6 episodes each season, hour-long episodes, and that's just what we watched on our vacation.
That's so funny.
But what we did get in was The Way of the Househusband.
We tried. I did the pilot.
Oh my god, Dave, so fucking funny.
Let me
It's
ask you this
yeah.
right off the top, and I'm not
Yeah.
taking the wind out of your sails.
No,
But
no.
the animation style of it, like being like basically like it's like a frame out of a comic, but like they
Yeah.
animate like the talking head.
Yeah.
I just found it super jarring. Does that change, or is that the whole show?
No, there's moments I find, like, because it's only 5 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be, it feels like each episode there's there's one or two, because it's like vignettes, right? Like, each episode
yeah.
has 6 episodes within it. And I've noticed throughout the 5, each one has like 1 or 2 of them that are kind of like the main episode, or the main vignette, and it is sometimes it's a little more fully animated, but not completely. It just has like more emotion to it.
Right.
But yeah, just, I don't know, we're still quoting like these episodes, the two of us around the house all week. Like, we're just like I've been calling my cat Gin, like the cat from the show. Like, fucking Gin.
All right. If your endorsement is this strong, I'll give it another shot.
It's such a small
I was
little
also
rock.
like I was saying, I was like horridly hungover. Like the
Not
day
the
that I
show.
tried.
That's definitely not the show for that. Or that's not the time frame.
Like
to be doing that.
just the energy was just not hitting right. But like to be fair, like there are some moments. I was like, okay, like I understand the irony of how badass this guy is, and you know what how he keeps saying I'm a house husband.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a teacher from Full Metal Alchemist saying I'm just a housewife after she
Yeah.
just does some really badass shit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's one of the vignettes, he ends up going to a yoga class, and like he's doing this yoga class with all these teachers, or with the teacher and like all these other women, like predominantly elderly women, and the teacher's going through the moves, and he's like, oh, I know that move, and like he pulls it off. He goes, oh, this is the move when you dishonored your captain and he's about to take your hand, and then they go to the next move and he goes, I know this one too. This guy unlawfully killed another rival member, so we're putting him into a box and throwing him into a river. And then like it goes on, like it just doesn't end. Like you go through like 5 or 6 poses, and yeah, it's so small and so simple. And like it wasn't like, I'm not saying we're having like a bad day or anything like that, but it was surprisingly so light and
refreshing, kind of uplifting vibes.
Yeah,
it's
in
very
a weird
bright,
way. Very bright. And it was just silly, but like at the same time, like the parallels they were drawing were so accurate. And like, there's another one too, like his assistant, or like the young guy that wants to become a house husband with him kind of thing. Like, he's teaching him how to like get stains out of his shirt, and there's one where he's cooking and he's like, no, like this is how you properly do this with the cooking. And it's like I know that stuff. Like, I'm not saying I'm a house husband, but like, like we run a pretty tight ship here, and like, I'm a sous chef to Leanna there, so like it's you learn stuff along the way. It's fun. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It just immediately found its way into my heart, and I just have a really big soft spot for it. And I've rewatched it a second time already.
Damn.
And it's just
home
funny.
run, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And out of nowhere, I knew it was coming. A couple of weeks ago, I saw
I saw the ad for it too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't watch it. I was like, oh, we'll just see, because there's a couple shows coming up. Like there's this Tokyo Revengers that just came out, and there's another show called 86 and To Your Eternity. They're like the new shows this season at Crunchyroll.
And also, I meant to send you, or you might have sent it to me. Like Netflix is like, oh, we're gonna do 40 new animes this year, like release.
Yeah.
Jesus, have you watched many of the Netflix animes? The only ones I think I have are, there's Househusband, but also Castlevania and Blood of Zeus. Have you seen either or both?
I watched Dorohedoro.
Oh, that's Netflix produced?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah. Oh, that was the one I loved. That was like my favorite from last year.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Castlevania, I think, is based on a video game.
Yes.
You should absolutely check it out, I think they did. I know for a fact they did a 3rd season, but I don't know why. Man, if you check out season 1 is 3 episodes. Like you could very much tell it's like a few years old now.
Okay.
But you can very much tell this was like I think one of, if not their first, but one of their very first animes that Netflix themselves produced.
Okay.
So it's only 3 episodes. It's like Netflix has a very defined like anime style, and this is really shown in that first 3 episodes of season 1. Then they do a full episode season 2. It's like 6 or 8 episodes or so, and I loved it. I was like, wow, this is this is based off the lore of a video game. Netflix is like, oh, we think there's a story here. They have their own animators do it. I was like, yeah, dude, sign me up. And then they did season 3, and like it sucked. But
of Castlevania.
Yeah, I don't recommend it because it kind of sullied things for me. But man, seasons 1 and 2, which in total is we're talking like 10 or 11 20-minute episodes. I really really recommend. And then Blood of Zeus, similar thing. I hope they don't do another season because it was a pretty finite story. It might have been 8 or 10 episodes, 20 minutes a pop or something. Solid. But like they have a lot more than that.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at a list now of what the original ones. I watched that Devilman Crybaby. Yeah, that was a tough hang.
Yeah, I tried that one. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
But like, hey, they went for it.
You
can definitely say that.
I think that was a big deal because that's based off one from like a really popular anime from the 80s, and the guy came back and did like a sequel series.
Yeah, I heard about that. It still doesn't change that it's fucking weird.
No, yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm not being a hater.
No, it just
because I know a lot of people love that shit.
I couldn't make it to the last episode.
Yeah. Not anime related. I've meant to ask you this for the last like 3 weeks.
Sure.
Are you still watching Mr. Robot?
Oh, that also came to a bit of a halt. It was so dark, Dave. Like, I really, there's a couple nights you and I talked at like crazy length about what I had watched and where I was in the series. I really like it, and I will punch myself in the face if I don't finish it this year.
Mm-hmm.
I really, 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 really want to finish it. It's just one of those things.
Took a break. Needed a break.
Honestly, Attack on Titan came on. That's what it was. Yeah, I think Attack on Titan was heating up, and work was getting a little busy, and that's just not Leanna's speed at all.
Oh, were you watching that together?
No, not together, but like, she'll be in the room, she'll be on the Switch or whatever, and like, she's usually if I'm watching something, she'll be paying attention, like she'll follow along with me, even if it's not her style. So, I try to watch things that I know, like, where
isn't going to make the other person miserable.
There's it's so funny. We'll come back to Mr. Robot, but there was a stretch I was rewatching Hannibal, which I love. And I hadn't watched it since probably when it aired.
They did 3 seasons, right?
Yeah, 3 seasons. Kind of a cliffhanger at the end there.
God, man, I remember so distinctly how much I loved the finale of season 2.
Yeah.
Like when he gets away, I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. I was like,
season 3 was good though.
Yeah,
season 3 was good. The Red Dragon stuff was pretty cool.
I'm down. It was just like, fuck, man. Like, you never know you're gonna get canceled, right?
Yeah.
So like, true. Obviously you want to tell the stories you're gonna tell, but it's like in retrospect, considering the cancellation, like, god damn, if they just ended it in season 2, that might have been stronger. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But it was, I'd watch it and like she wasn't being disturbed, but like there was, I had like I had super vivid nightmares for like a couple nights. No, a couple nights a week. I'd wake up like, like sweaty and like breathing out loud. And then one night where I was like, oh, what are we watching? And Leanna was doing something else. I'm like, oh, I'll watch some Hannibal. And she never does this. And she's like, maybe don't. And I'm like, what? She's like, Grant, like all week you've been like a mess, like you haven't slept good, like that's
you're screaming in your sleep.
She's like, maybe don't watch that before bed. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
That's pretty fun, dude. I think it's season 1 where there's like, they set the fucking tone. Like they've got some good FX and makeup artist stuff on that show. Like I think
it's crazy that was on TV.
Yeah, I think it's season 1. They have a scene where like the guy uses the person's spinal cord and lungs and turns them into wings, and I was like, oh my god.
I'll never forget the mushroom garden.
Ugh.
Yeah. The pharmacist was like using people as a garden.
Yeah.
That
dude,
was
Mads Mikkelsen though, eh? Like, Jesus Christ. What a measured, just great performance.
Yeah, he's spooky. I
love that fucking shit.
Yeah.
That was a killer.
But no, so Mr. Robot, Dave, I would love to do it would be interesting to go back and do like a one-off Mr. Robot pod.
Yeah, man. I haven't
just to talk about it, because I know how much you love it, and you've been the one that's selling me on it for a few years now. So
I'd say it's what's his face, I forget his name, but the writer director Sam Esmail. I believe he fully takes the reins and direction in season 3 from all of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So all of 4 he directs himself, and it's just it's like every episode is a top tier, almost mini movie, because that network, USA Network, hasn't had a lot of hits, and like when they got Mr. Robot, it had this huge fucking following, and it got them awards, which they had never had before. So they gave, like, they're like a regular network that's like on cable, and they just gave him obscene creative control. No ads, like no commercial breaks, 65-minute episodes. Like, just, he got to do whatever the fuck he wanted. Single action shots that are like 13 minutes long, like renting out blocks of New York City. Anyway, they went for it in season 4, and the amount of, it's kind of like it's similar to how Breaking Bad is so self-referential in its final season, or now in Attack on Titan season 4, so many things are clicking into place.
Sure.
It was like you could just tell that the man had a plan,
Yeah.
and he just really went for it, and he seemed to really be figuring out direction, and he was just vibing. It was his material. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not saying it's like one of the best of all time, but I think it's one of my favorite of all time. Yeah, that show in its final season is so goddamn good.
Well, what I've seen so far is like it's tremendous. Like the visually, like there's just some shots in that show that just blow me away. It's crazy to think that this is a drama.
Yeah, the shots don't stop.
You know,
man.
like
it just gets better.
It feels like sci-fi. Like and like it. Again, this is I'm a victim now to like have had some time between when I watched it last and talking about it. But like there's the episode where he puts together, I think he's putting together his dad, like, or I think that his dad is
Christian
who he
Slater,
is, kind of
right?
thing. Yeah, Christian Slater. And there's the memory slash like alt history moment where like they're driving in like an 80s cartoon and Alf shows up
Yeah.
and like they like knock is it Dina, the sister?
Yeah.
And like they like not, or Dina gets knocked out and they throw her in the car and like just like I don't know, it's really good shit. Just what a beautiful show.
Yeah, man, they go for it. You got to return to that. Like you said, if you can get that done in 2021,
Oh, it's happening. It's happening for sure.
I'm due for a complete rewatch. It's so funny though. Like Sam and I also share shows, but it's like I don't blame you because I completely agree. Like especially if you have like a finite amount of television you want to watch, either on your own,
Yeah.
or with someone. It's like I watch that show week to week, and sometimes I would binge it, but sometimes not. Because if that's like the show you're gonna watch together, and it's 60 minutes of that, like it's fucking heavy. Like you know what I mean? Like when you could watch something else that'll make you both laugh. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to. It's similar to Breaking Bad levels of like you have to be tuned in that space, ready to like absorb the drama. You know what I mean? It's not. It's a bad binge watch, I think. If that makes sense. Like it's one of the few shows that really like the pacing, the week breaks was a big help. It's kind of like watching Breaking Bad. Like, can you watch more than 4 episodes or 3 episodes of Breaking Bad in a row? Like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's heavy. It sits heavy on, like there's just there. It's just those shows. Like the content is so. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else. It just sits heavy like that. I find like Game of Thrones. I had that problem.
Yeah.
Like the early, because like when Devin and I watched it, we did a little bit of catch up. I think. I think we were like 2 seasons late on that, which was weird because it's so up our alley. But but even then, like we just want to keep going. It's like, no, dude, like we got to cut this up just a little bit. But yeah, it's man, it's wild.
Yeah.
Have you ever just gone through the Crunchyroll store? Like the merch
like
store?
web store.
Yeah.
I think I did like. I never bought anything there, but I've looked a couple times. I can't remember what. I think like they had like like the one thing that turned my head was like genuine like figurines, not like the bobblehead things that people
like a model.
Pops. A little model of like Demon Slayer characters, and I was like, well, that is kind of fucking cool.
It's really cool. Like, don't undersell it, Dave. Like I'm trying to, because Corinne is obsessed with this Card Captor show.
Oh yeah.
And she's finally moved on to the sequel series, which she's on her break right now, and she's just ripping through that downstairs as we speak. But yeah, I was just trying to find some like card cap, like a cool shirt for her or whatever. But
cool.
this store is massive.
Yeah, they must crush. They must do so much business in merch.
It's unreal. God, man. Figures, yeah. People, yeah. I remember one time I saw, like in person, I saw someone's like room that was completely like decked out in like, models, like not models,
figurines, posters,
like figurines,
collectibles.
posters, all that stuff, and it was just it was so crazy to see like all the genres of stuff they had collected over the years, and I could only imagine like the money spent on, like, if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I
so
mean?
tricky, right? Like, how much do you want to balance that? Like, do you want to just build a whole collectible thing? There's no
Yeah,
shame in that.
yeah.
I think, yeah, I have one of my favorite shirts is this Uniqlo. Do you know who Uniqlo, the
No.
clothing company, just clothing company out of Japan, and they only have a couple stores in Canada. They have one in Toronto and a bunch in the States, I think. Anyway, they're pretty relatively popular, and they do these limited runs with artists on, like, for example, they did a limited run of Demon Slayer shirts,
Okay.
and I snagged one, and they all sell out. It's just like a sneaker drop. They sell out like the same day. It's hilarious.
Oh, really?
But they did a Demon Slayer t-shirt drop, and it was like, it's this like salmon pink t-shirt with like a little pocket, and out of the pocket Nezuko is peeking.
Oh my
So,
god.
but it's just a pink shirt with Nezuko, like, it's just so subtle. And I was like, yo, this is like the coolest fucking thing on the planet.
I like that.
Yeah.
I have a Scouts shirt. It's just a Hot Topic find. We were killing time one time in Ottawa at the mall, or at the Tangiers there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's $10. I can't not.
Exactly.
And it's my go-to. It's one of my all-time go-to shirts. But it's subtle. It's just like the crest over the heart, and then there's like a bigger one on the back. It's that's the thing. Like, you're much more of a. I'm not gonna say I have no style and you do have style, but like you're more of a conscious, like, clothing guy, I think.
Yeah, superficial.
Superficial. Jesus Christ, I would never say that. But it's always like, it's one of the hardest things for me to justify buying is like a new piece of clothing.
I feel you.
And the one I settle on is an Attack on Titan shirt.
No, sometimes it just hits right.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, buddy, I think it's time for bedtime there.
All right, man. This has been fun.
Yeah.
If you guys listened, thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do this again.
Oh, is that everyone still here?
Yeah, I think they're all still here. I mean, you can't see them.
Oh, well, I hope everyone has a good little sleep tonight.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Or don't sleep if you're driving.
Yeah. Well, we're not going to tell you what to do. Take a risk. See what happens.
All right. Well, if you're listening, have a good night, Doug. Have a good night, guys.
Cheers.
Bye, Dave.
Bye.